Now, if you weren't aware yet, Nethergames decided it was time for them to stop using Hypixel's maps completely for all of their game modes and decided to go with their own unique and custom maps. Now, while it is sad to see Nethergames stop using Hypixel's maps that we all love and know, I do think this is a change in the right direction, considering that now they have a chance to become a featured server. And while you might say, well, all of the new maps are bad, they're bad for rushing, they're bad for fast wins, I can say some of them are actually faster than the fastest maps that we previously had. Like, we're talking 4 iron rushes. Yes, I'm not joking, there's actually a map where you can 4 iron rush. This video wasn't possible without Sheets, who helped me a lot with the research for all of these maps, and he spent over 4 or 5 agonizing hours just going over every single map and all of the rushes. So go check out his video on all of these squads and trios maps, because I'll only be covering solos and doubles. And if you're not interested in those game modes, I still recommend you go check out his channel because he does some really good content. Without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy me talking about the iron rushes, reviewing the maps, and hopefully changing your mind on the update. So first of all, let's talk about Indian, as it seems to be the most popular map that came with the update. Indian is a 8 iron rush, aka 32 blocks diagonally and also on your side, but you can also 4 rush your side and also your diamond gen if you start from a specific block. But you can also get unlucky and get a long rush on your side, which means you have to get 12 iron or 48 blocks to rush your neighbor. Mid is also very small and is easily accessible through the diamond gens, but it's also not close enough to make every single person just go in mid rush. You also have 2 little mini islands between long rushes to make long rushes easier and perhaps to save some blocks, but other than that, they don't really serve a big purpose. The Indian map is very tall, which means people can just literally build up to build height and just hide somewhere on top of their base, which is a bit annoying. But other than that, this is a pretty good map. I'd say this is probably the fastest map game pace wise. You can easily get 2 to 3 minute games on this map with a full lobby. And of course, Nethergames just had to update their maps and add a new one. But hey, I'm not against it because this map actually rocks. Fast food is a 8 iron rush on both sides, either through your diamond gen or through your side. The diamond gen is placed perfectly. It acts like a really good indicator on where you're supposed to bridge to get to the diagonal base. And the map is also very big, it's very spaced out, it's very flat. Flat maps usually help a lot with just overall awareness. You can see somebody from the other side of the map, which is really helpful in case you're getting pushed from both sides and you have to stay aware on who's going for who. Mid is also very nice. It's very flat, it's very easy to get emerald, but it's not close enough for somebody to go ahead and just camp at mid the entire time. One thing I don't like about this map is the interior. The inside of your base is just really small and it really doesn't give a lot of space for any sort of PvP. And there's also barrier blocks above the shop where you can knock somebody onto them and they just float up there, which is an advantage if you're a person comboing them, but if you're getting comboed, it's really annoying because you're basically stuck on the high ground. So overall, this map is very cool. You can't really mid-rush somebody that easily, but because it's so close together, it's okay because you can just bypass a team. I'd say this map and Indian are probably like the 2 best maps that you can go for, and these maps both can be maps that you can use to speedrun or just break any sort of records or just get 2-minute games easily. Next up, we have Wild West. Now, at first glance, Wild West seems like a really good map because you have an 8 rush on your side really comfortably, and you can also go ahead and 12 rush your diagonal. You also have something like a semi-mid, which is just a ring all the way around mid, which makes it easy for you to rush somebody in case both your sides are gone. You just can go ahead and semi-mid rush, and you can just rush somebody from there. But I've got 2 big problems with this map. First of all, being all the possible hiding spots on this map. You can hide in your roof and you can hide in the little water canister tank, whatever that is, because both of them are hollow. Also, one more thing I don't like is that the rails that make the semi-ring actually have holes in them, so you can actually fall through them. And while a good player usually doesn't fall through them, it obviously happens at least like once a day or twice a day if you're playing the map like 10 or 20 times, and it does annoy you every now and then if you fall through it because it shouldn't happen. I feel like putting barrier blocks there could easily solve the problem and also could stop people from just like trying to block trip you and stuff like that. But other than that, I really like the placement of the diamond gens. I also like the size of your base. The rushes are also pretty short, and because of the semi-mid, it won't exactly encourage somebody to go to mid necessarily. You could expect anywhere between 3 to 5 minute games on this map. Wilderness is a tricky map. Well, Wilderness does allow you to do a 4 rush, but you have to do 2 4-block jumps. It still, for some reason, is a pretty weird map to judge pace-wise. The map in itself looks like it's a short rush. It is a short rush, and it also should be a very fast-paced game. It has a nice mid that reminds you of a Skywars map. The normal gens are placed perfectly, and the whole mid section is basically built on having 3 different layers. Bottom layer, the middle layer, and then you have the top layer with all of the emeralds. The diagonal rushes also aren't that bad. It also is just 8 iron for a diagonal rush, which means that with 12 iron you could literally go for 2 bases. But there's still something about the map that makes this map somewhat slow paced. As of right now, nobody's broken any sort of records with Wilderness, even though on paper it seems like a fast map, just like Wild West for example. It just doesn't have what it takes for a very fast-paced game such as on Indian. And I think one main reason for that is because I think the map sticks together a bit. I feel a lot could be spaced out just a little bit more. For example, the 4 iron rush that is Wilderness could be an 8 iron rush on the side, and that way they'd have the freedom to make middle a little bit bigger. And I also think they should have added some sort of mini island to connect the diagonal rushes. One big reason why the map isn't the most popular is because your diagonal rush is really weird, because there's this huge tree that just blocks the diagonal rush completely. So usually most people rush from under the tree, and it just is really disturbing for jump bridges because they always get hit by the tree and the kid just can't jump bridge. This map also has a very weird interior that reminds you of Crypt. While it's not terrible, it's just not really spaced out. You have maybe 10 blocks or something from your wall to the edge of the map, and while it isn't that bad, it just doesn't give you a lot of space to PvP, which can make games faster. So I don't really know what went wrong with this map, but something went wrong that doesn't make this map as fast-paced as Indian and Wild West. But it's still a good map nonetheless, and if Indian and Wild West can be chosen, I would still go for this map just because it's still 4 to 5 minute games. The next map is Futuristic, and while it's a big step down from the previous maps that I've just covered, it still is a very good map. It has a very interesting generator layout, and also is a very short rush, 8 iron or 16 blocks to your side rush. To get your diagonal rush, you'd usually go for mid, and I really like maps where you have to mid rush because it makes all of the other teams very accessible to rush as well. On this map, I feel like the diamond gen is very, very bad. It's just positioned in a way where nobody really will go for a diamond gen unless you really, really need it. It isn't a map like Lighthouse or Speedway where the diamond gen is in the way of your rush. You naturally get diamonds and buy upgrades. Instead, it's out of your way and you have to diagonal bridge, or you have to just do some really weird god bridging to get to the diamond gen. The whole base is also very small, which I don't like because it's very bad for PvP, as I've mentioned with previous maps. Mid is also very big, and while it can be an advantage, I personally don't like mid being very big. You can also find way more hiding spots than you should on this map. You can literally get a pearl and just pearl on top of the roof on the buildings, and since the roofs are above build height, somebody else has to get a pearl to get up to you. You can also use blocks and without a pearl to glitch up on the trees, which I will show on the screen right now. That is if you're laggy enough, which is also a bit abusive. So I think they should just go ahead and lower the whole height of all the buildings so that people won't get any ideas of like pearling on top of the roof or someplace. This map also for some reason has just such a super tall base. I don't know what's up with the tall bases, but it's really annoying because it means that some stupid camper can just go ahead to the top of the base and just basically ruin your game. But if you don't encounter anything like that, mid-rushing is very easy. You can get very fast games because you can mid-rush. Well, mid-rushing is a bit awkward because it's one of those semi-mid that we talked about earlier on Wild West. It's a very, very good way to get to different teams and make the games really fast. If you're playing this map well, you can expect anywhere from 3 to 5 minute games. Now for one of my personal favorites, Stonehenge. This map, while it doesn't seem like it's optimized for speed, is still a very fast-paced map. You have a diamond gen, which is albeit very obnoxious. It's basically the Zarzul diamond gen, which we all know means that you basically won't be getting any sort of diamond upgrades before the game ends. This map is a 12 rush to your side and to your diagonal rush, and it's also very beautiful. It's also very open space, which means you can easily see the rest of the map from your base. Having 16 render chunks as your render distance also allows you to see the other base on the other side of the map, which shows that it's very compact, it's very small, and that will obviously mean very fast-paced games. Mid is also very small, which also plays a significant role, but it also isn't that great because that means that you can't necessarily mid-rush. And if you're wondering why I'm bringing mid-rushing so much up and why it's important, is because on other games always don't fill up, and that means that you can end up not having any sort of rushes on your left or right side, which means you'll have to go to mid to get a rush quickly, or you're gonna have to just sit at your gen way longer to get enough resources to go to a base and then bypass it and go to the next base. But yeah, on the first try of this map, I got a solid 3-minute game, which is pretty quick considering that I could have made a lot of improvements. So if you speedrun this map correctly and get really lucky, you can probably get an easy 2-minute game. I'm not sure this map is optimized for an under 2-minute game, but it's definitely doable because of the very comfortable rushes, both diagonally and to your side. There's also a little island between mid and between your rushes, which is placed very interestingly. I have no idea why they placed it there and why they didn't place it on your diagonal rush. But I guess it does a job of saving you a couple blocks towards mid. Mid itself is a bit obnoxious because the archways that make up the entrances to mid all lead to 1 emerald gen. So there's 4 emerald gens on each corner of middle, and the archways are basically pathways to those emerald generators. Now the reason why that's so obnoxious is because it isn't flat. You have to climb up walls, and that's very annoying, especially if you're trying to get emeralds really quickly. It also just makes walking around the area very annoying. It also has a trend along with a lot of other maps of having a hole in the middle. No idea what the purpose of having a hole in the middle of the map is, besides just giving campers a chance to just camp in there, but I guess it just makes the map look better. I don't know. Overall, I'd say this map is definitely a map that I would love to play a bit more. As long as you can with Indian or Wild West, I definitely consider trying this map out because I think this can be a lot of fun for speedrunners or just for people playing casually. If you've been playing squads a lot recently, you may notice that a lot of the new squads maps are basically reskins from some of the old Hypixel maps that Nethergames used to use. You can just clearly see that, for example, Library is just a ripoff of that Colosseum map, and the same thing goes for a couple of the other maps. They're basically just reskins and have a lot of the same features, except that they're made a bit differently, have different names, and also look differently. But that trend hasn't followed over to solos until this map. This map is basically a copy of Holo. Unearthed, while it is a copy of Holo, it for some reason just isn't as fast as Holo. One main reason for that being is that mid, instead of being huge, is also again very small. No idea what it is with these small mids in these maps. I think it's because they're trying to make people to stop using emeralds, which I don't really understand. Having a big mid also means that it can act as a sort of connector between maps on your diagonal rush. While they did make up for it on this map, since there is a connector for the diagonal rush, it still is placed in an awkward position where you still have to change your rushing direction at least once before you can make it to the connector. One main change for your spawn base is that it's way bigger than on Holo, which I really like. It gives you a lot more space to PvP, and there's not this like weird like hobbit opening that Holo had. One thing I do still find annoying is that there's still the stairway that goes up to the top of your base. Instead of it being on only one side though, it's now on both sides, so it's really easy to access the top and then start your bridge. Mid is also really weird. It has this like really weird windmill and these cranes that are like picking up the diamond generators. While it looks pretty cool, it's not really practical. I think that's what a lot of the new maps share, is that the builders seem to have put looks over actual function. So while it's not a lot of work to get up to the emerald generators, it's still that 1 or 2 blocks that you have to place that can annoy you. There's also this little like mining entrance where hiders can easily just go down to the floor and just like build down so far. It feels like a lot of these maps really are optimized for campers, which I don't really like, but let's hope that nobody actually like abuses all these hiding spots. But that's about it that I can say for Holo. Unearthed, sorry, my bad. I don't think this map has a potential for fast games. I don't know what it is about the map, but I just feel like if you have both rushes on both of your sides gone and you want to mid rush, it's literally just impossible. You have to just wait for like a stack or something to be able to bypass 2 bases and go to your next rush that is in the game. So if you like having smaller paced games, I guess you can go with that map. If you haven't noticed yet, the maps seem to get worse and worse as the video goes on, so I might as well keep that trend going. This next map, Fallen, is it's a mess, and that's putting it kindly. The name Fallen doesn't even like say anything about the map. It's just some random name they gave it. Like for example, Stonehenge actually has some like stone setup and stuff like that. Or for example, Wild West also has like railroads and stuff, and has like sheriff shacks or whatever they're called, and it has some pioneer wagons. But this Fallen map just doesn't mean anything. They just gave this a random name. Like this map having the name Fallen just adds to the overall confusion that this map already has. Even though this map is a 12 iron or 48 block diagonal and side rush, it still has a very weird mid. I don't know what it is about these mids, but like they just like putting the diamond gens in a really awkward position where they're just not reachable or just annoying to get to. Again, this is another example of builders just going ahead and adding form over function. Even though this map looks like it's a slow rush, it still has good potential for some fast games. I almost broke the world record with a 3/4 full lobby, and while it doesn't say too much, it still shows that the map has some potential for a fast game. I think really the main focus of the map being bad is really just middle. The base is just awkward and weird, but it's still playable, it's still rushable. But it's just mid that actually that just ruins the map. If you're playing doubles though, I really would not recommend this map just because it has a lot of holes. Your teammate can easily fall in them. You could easily get final just because you're not paying attention. You just fall in the void. And it's also really messy because you can't really see every single team from far away. This map isn't that bad. There's still worse maps than this in my opinion. I do think there's going to be somebody out there that will really enjoy using this map just because it's, you know, it has that like awkward, weird shape and like base and mid, and you know, some people just like really like that.
But you only have a problem?
But yeah, this map I guess is an okay. You can get fast games. It's just that it's just a very confusing map, and it's just so unorthodox. You wouldn't really consider it a Bedwars map, or at least not a proper one. Alright, so we're on the second to last map. This map is Undying, and now you might have expected this map to be last. There's actually one map that's a bit worse than this one, but just by a little bit. This map is a 12 to 16 iron diagonal rush, and also a 8 to 12 side rush. You really have to rush from a certain spot to manage to get the 8 rush perfectly. But yeah, this map, I don't really know what this map was supposed to be. But yeah, this map is interesting for various reasons. First of all, again, the themes for these maps are just, they're just like weird. Like why Undying? I mean, like I guess the map just like looks dead in some way, but looking past the theme, this map is just, it's just weird. Again, unorthodox. It just looks weird. I'm not saying this map is bad by any means. I'd say the map is interesting, it's innovative in some ways, but I just feel like, again, this map is just completely blown out of proportions by mid. Mid is a full stack of blocks away from your main base, and I just have no idea why. Like, I can understand maybe like half a stack, maybe 48 blocks, but a full stack. What person was like, yo, let's make mid a full stack away? Yeah, nobody was like that on the build team. I was probably like one guy on the build team that said, do you want to test out how mad we can make the community? And they just like make a 64 rush. But yeah, no, mid is just absolutely pointless. The funniest thing is when you actually at mid, it doesn't even look that bad. Like, sure, it looks far away, but it looks more like a maybe like a 48 rush or something, but not like a full stack. Other than that, this map doesn't have too many problems besides the spawn base just looking a bit weird on the inside. Hey, so I'm just gonna cut myself in here real quick. After analyzing the map a bit more, I've changed my mind on why I think this map is also really bad. I think like the whole way the map is built is that it really supports people just getting on the roof and just dropping TNT on you. It also just supports people just getting the high ground with having like a big willow tree and stuff like that. It really likes, it really wants people, it really invites people to just have high ground and just like drop down on you, which personally I don't like for maps. I feel like that's something more to add on squad maps, but not on solos where it's just a 1v1. Like it gives people a lot of space on the island. Like you could fit like 4 different people from 4 different teams on that one island. Like it's just really easy for somebody to camp that spot, because to get up to the spot where the other person is, you have to go all the way around your base, and it's gonna give them time to drop down, maybe break your bed, so you can't do that. So it's always like a great position to be in. Like on some maps you can like maybe just like place a couple blocks and you can like start hitting them, and then they can drop down it easily. But on this map you have to like, oh, you just have to get up so far, or like there's just so many places so somebody can just like sit and just like wait for you to leave the base, or for you to just like give up and then to be able to get your bed. So I think that's one reason why I also just hate this map. This map really does remind me of Biohazard with all the diamond gen rushes. It's just bunched together a lot, and mid is just like tiny. I think that's one thing that also the map builders just didn't like doing a lot is like these semi-mids. I feel like having semi-mids is really useful to guide a player where they should bridge to get to mid efficiently. That's I think why Wild West and why Futuristic are such popular maps, is because they have this like semi-mid connecting all the bases to one place. But yeah, there's not a lot I can say about this map. I've literally not even finished this map once. I wouldn't try to finish it. I'm guessing games can take anywhere from 4 to 7 minutes to finish off. I obviously haven't tried this map yet, so I can't confirm or deny that that game can take that long. And I also won't try it just because I don't know, like being able to not go to mid that easily is just pointless. Like imagine your rushes don't exist. You have to waste like 16 blocks to either go to a diamond gen, and then you find that there's nobody there, and you have to waste another 12 iron to get to the next space, and it's just so many blocks. And mid rushing is just a complete waste because you need a stack and another stack to just go to mid and then go back to different base. So it's just not a map I would play. Industrial, oh boy. So this map is a failure in every single possible way. I don't know what happened here. I think the map builders just tried to go for some sort of cool, unique map, and it just completely backfired. You need 16 iron to just rush your forwards rush, and then you need 12 iron to rush your backwards rush or your diagonal rush. And this map is just huge. I have not managed to finish a game under 5 minutes. This map just takes so long. If you die one single time before you finish the game, it just takes you so long to get back to that base. You'd think mid rushing is faster, but no. In the time that it takes you to mid rush a base from where you died that's really far away, that guy from the base can literally go from anywhere to anywhere. Like, this map is just absolute confusion. The main base itself actually looks pretty good. The main base had really good potential to be part of like a really good map, but everything else just completely fell apart. The shop is placed correctly, the bed is really nicely placed, you know, the base just really looks nice. I like the gen as well. Then you have also your diamond gen, which is pretty far away, but I guess that's acceptable. You also have a clear path to middle, which that's where basically everything just breaks down, and among other things, that's one of the main reasons why this map is just terrible. Mid, this map, if you really haven't noticed, is basically literally just steampunk, just without like the huge houses rising up into the air. Middle is literally just a copy of steampunk. I can't start to explain how much I hate this map. It takes you like a full minute to get emeralds and then go back to like your base or somewhere, and that's such a waste of time. Like it might even take 2 minutes, I don't know. But yeah, no, this map is just a disappointment on so many levels. The fact that your diagonal backwards rush is closer than your forwards rush is just it's just not okay. It's just one of those maps where like it's the same situation as on Indian, where if you're on the wrong side where your diagonal rush is closer than your normal side rush, you have to make a choice. Are you gonna go for the team that you can get the fastest and maybe risk getting targeted from both sides, or are you gonna go the long rush but still risk getting targeted from one more side? So I don't know, this map is just messed up on so many levels. This map had, again, such good potential. I like steampunk besides the fact that you have to rush backwards diagonally to get to a base, and this map literally just copied that concept and made it even worse, because on this map, while it is basically steampunk, you don't actually rush backwards because everybody rushes forwards. On steampunk, it's basically normal that everybody rushes backwards. Like, the community has sort of gotten used to it. On this map, everybody forwards rushes, but there's still that occasional person that would backwards diagonal rush because they notice it's like steampunk. And then it's like you're getting pushed from both sides. What are you gonna do? You're just stuck. It's just and I just go back to mid now because mid is really hilarious. It's just an absolute joke. On mid, you have these 4 houses that do absolutely nothing except lead a path up to the platform. Like, why do you have to have these tunnels that don't do anything, and there's like a huge hole in the middle that literally stops any sort of interaction from any single base. Like, instead of making the middle of the middle just filled up where everybody can like 1v1, like have some fighting and like go to bases and just go anywhere they want, it's just a hole. You're basically forcing the player to go up on the top and just confuse themselves, lose orientation, have to get emeralds, and then it's just such an awkward situation. Like, there's 2 ways to go up. Why is there 2 ways to go up? Having 2 ways to go up means there's 2 ways to run away. Means that it's gonna be so difficult to chase somebody. They can just go mid, get emeralds, and then they can just literally lead you around in a circle, and they can just keep collecting emeralds, and you can't stop them because you just physically can't outsmart them. If they just keep running around in a circle, they can maybe see you that you're turning around and trying to cut them off, and they'll just go back around the other way around. It's just yeah, this was steampunk, or should I rather say industrial, since that's the new term. I should just notice how close the terms industrial and steampunk are. Nice one, Nethergames. But yeah, this map is just a pain to just talk about. I'm happy this is the last map because now it's over. I don't have to talk about this map ever again. This map sucks. Thank you for watching this video. It was very cool to do this video. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you did, go smash subscribe, smash like, and combo both those buttons at the same time. And go check out this video. Go check out more of my videos. And please never mention industrial ever again. Okay, bye.